Hey, g'day to you. I'm Lyle, and that's Trish behind the reflector that's keeping me lit up. Listen, have you ever wanted to travel Australia and see the great Outback, but never had the chance to do it because you don't have a caravan that's going to cop those rough roads, or you couldn't afford the $250,000 or so for a brand new Spinifex? The scenery out there is absolutely incredible, and if you've had a hankering to see all that stuff, we just may have the answer for you at about a third of the cost of a brand new Spinifex. Come on, let's have a little look. I'll turn around and you can see what I got behind me. Have a look at this. This is a 2010 Spinifex Outback Explorer. Have a look at the size of it. It's 24 feet long, and don't panic, it only weighs 2.8 tonnes, and you can load it to 3.5 or 4.2 tonnes if you want to. But, little confession for a start, because back in 2010, the child bride and I had that Spinifex made exactly for us. It was made so it could withstand almost anything we could throw at it, and we've modernised it since. But let's have a walk around so you can see just exactly how good this Spinifex is at a fraction of the cost of a new one. Okay, let's start from the outside. Here's the sharp end. There's a 7-foot drawbar, which is hot dip galvanised, very robust and braced. There's a 6-ton Mack hitch on the end of that, and don't panic over that because that's just for safety reasons. Or checker plate. The frame is alloy. The whole frame is alloy, so there's no wood. So if you accidentally get a leak, you're not sacrificing your van or getting a $40,000 repair bill. It's been immaculately maintained. Let's have a little walk around the outside. Checker plate everywhere. Massive suspension. Let's see if you can see in there. A massive chassis. That's a Cruisemaster airbag suspension. And they're not little toy airbags in coil springs. This is proper truck airbags with a compressor and all the doodads that go with maintaining a level. And you can just level it up when you're on an uneven surface. That's disc brakes in there, and if you've ever had disc brakes, you'll know that those things pull you up pretty quickly. These are crash bars. If you drop into a hole somewhere and you hit a bit of rock, it's not going to damage the body panels. We've got a boot there, that doesn't go right through but holds a whole heap of stuff. Water tank at the back. Now there's something very interesting about the back here. That whole bumper bar at the back is not tacked on like you get in most other caravans. This is actually part of the chassis. It's built all the way through in one piece. That ain't gonna break. In there is a generator box with a slide out that will hold a 2.2 kVA generator. It's carried our little 2 kVA Honda for many, many years. You've got outdoor shower, all the usual stuff. Hot water system, you've got 4 tanks and a grey water, and you've got a compressor fridge hidden in there, and there's a SOG on the outside of your toilet, which means you don't have to use chemicals. Piece of cake there. And just at the front there, we've forgot to mention, there's 1 gas bottle, we don't need 2. There's enough power in this thing to power everything. And the tank for your diesel heater. Here's the sharp end of the electrics. On the top there's a kilowatt. There's 1,000 watts of solar panels, which is a massive amount of power. That'll power a small house. You've got a multi-plus compact. It's an inverter 70 amp charger, so it's going to whack it into the batteries quickly. A DC to DC charger, so your car will charge it while you're going along. And that's the Renogy solar controller, 60 amps. There's a lot comes into his. We've got circuit breakers, switches. It's as safe as houses, and the basis of this powered us for many, many years. I neglected to mention before that all this power's got to go somewhere. It's no good having it unless you can store it. Underneath the seats inside, there's 2 lithium batteries, the giants, and I suspect they're somewhere between 200 and 300 amp hours each. So there's about 600 amp hours of lithium battery power, and a kilowatt on the roof. You can power a house. It's incredible. You will rarely run out of power in this rig. Okay, time for a look inside, eh? Follow me in. Come and have a look at this. Have a look at this. A giant compressor fridge. Runs off 240, no trouble at all, just plugs into the inverter. Underneath the fridge, and if you come down a little bit, Trish, we've got a box here that contains, you really shouldn't see this, there's 2 water pumps, there's a hot water system, there's a diesel heater, and pumps and taps. You can actually change tanks from in here. There's a very, very comprehensively equipped. Hey, how about this for a very comprehensive modern interior? You see, about 5 or 6 years ago, the child bride and I decided we need to modernise it. This had old wooden cupboards. So we gave it back to Steve at the Spinifex factory, and he replaced all the cupboard doors and everything he could find with this modern white composite stuff. It weighs nothing, it doesn't mark, it really brightens the whole inside of the caravan up. But so does Trish, the child bride sitting there with her smile to say, hello darling. And the bed was made especially for us. That bed, when you put a bolster behind, and it'll slide out to 6'10", which gives us tons of space. We've got the fold-out kitchen table, which is really, really practical. And that blue fabric is original. It has stood the test of time. It's the same as it was the day we took it from the factory. Now I'll show you some other stuff. Okay, we'll go for a little walk down the van. Can you excuse us while we do this? Just stay there, darling. You've got a stove with 3 burners and an electric. You've got a griller and you've got an oven. And tell me about the oven. You love the oven?
I love the oven.
Yeah, use it often.
Cook many a cake in there.
Okay. Sink with a separate drinking water tap. That's the ordinary tap. There's a whole heap of storage underneath. You don't need to see all that sort of stuff. There's electricity coming out of the walls everywhere. There's a microwave and a whole heap of instruments that help you keep tabs of stuff. That's the radio and the heater and hot water stuff. Over here's the interesting bit. Let's see if I can get in closer here. We've got temperature monitors for the fridge and the freezer and ambient. We've got controls for the voltage and solar panel power, TV antennas. That aerial goes up with a flick of a switch. Water levels. It's very, very comprehensively equipped. Go a little further down the back. Sirocco fans. They draw 0.2 of an amp. And very, very effective. And the Bertie Beetle doesn't go with this. But the beauty of this thing, it's got fan here, and there's another one down the other end, so you can have air flowing in from the front and out over you up the back. On the left as you come in, of course, is the child bride, but here's our editing suite. This was our office, it was built exactly for us. But if you don't want to use it as an office, it will sleep a couple of kids. Anyway, what's in there? You've got what there, darling? You've got your laptop.
I've got my laptop and I've got my
You've got the iPad. And you've got the Canon.
Yep.
And what have we got here? We've got TV comes out of the wall there. We've got 12 volts comes out of the wall. And underneath there's 240 volts. And over this side, just behind it, you can swing around, you can mount a second TV there, and you've got all the power you want coming out of the walls there. This is a really comprehensive one end of the caravan. I neglected to mention there before that this is a very practical room for several other purposes. One, it's a nice change room. There's a big curtain there that the child bride will pull across, so you've got absolute privacy. And we've used this when we've wanted, in the really hot times, when we've wanted to reduce the space that the air conditioner has to cool. You just pull that across. Look at the size of those cupboards just next to the office. Child bride loves them. Right, open the door, darling. What have we got in here?
Look at here.
Whoop. We got a washing machine, top loader, hand basin, and the ever reliable Thetford Dunning. That's not all, as somebody famous once said. Open that door, darling. What's in there?
Have a look.
This is like a shower, the likes of which you've never seen before. Really high gloss walls, no fiberglass, no cracking. Look at that floor. That is polished checker plate. Nothing is going to crack here. Well, how's that for a snappy tour of a pretty comprehensively equipped Spinifex caravan? We had this for 10 years, and the lady who bought it from us has had it for 5 or so years. But in those 10 years, it was faultless. It didn't leak water, it didn't leak dust, it just didn't break down. You just service the thing and it just went. And you'll find exactly the same. And we've modernised. Trish and I spent $20-something thousand on the interior 5 years ago. And the present owner has spent a similar amount updating the electrics and with the compressor fridge and that sort of stuff. So for $69,000, this thing can be yours. That's about a third of the cost of a similarly equipped new Spinifex. And you can get out and see all those sunsets and travel on all those dirt roads that Trish and I did for all those years. You'll need a 3.5 tonne capable vehicle. I don't recommend you tow it with a D-Max. A D-Max will tow it lawfully if you don't load it. It's only 2.8. But if you load it to 3.5, it's too much for a D-Max. That's not safe. You need to go and have a Toyota or a Nissan Patrol or something like that to safely tow it. Anyway, that's a guided tour of our little home, which could be yours. Now, can you see yourself travelling in this magnificent vehicle to see places such as the Bungle Bungles in Western Australia? Or how about going from Boolia in central Queensland, that's Min Min Light Country, across the top of the Simpson Desert and come out at Alice Springs? Or the sunsets in Broome? All that awaits for you in this magnificent van if you choose to adopt this lifestyle. But I've got one word of warning for you, because whenever you pull up in this caravan, you're going to have a whole heap of people coming up and wanting to yarn about your van and talk to you about all the features and things that you can actually do in it. But don't take our word for it. This van is every bit as good as we said. Go and have a look at it. Contact the owner, Janet Smith, on this email. That's janet_m_smith@hotmail.com. I'll run that past you again. janet_m_smith@hotmail.com. Catch you out there somewhere, eh? Enjoy your new life. You're going to have a great time. See ya.